In this video, we are talking about perceiver struggles and what you can do about that to focus in on some of the things that you're chasing, like too many ideas, too many different projects, because you know that we get into this quick start, like so much passion and energy right at the start of the whole thing. And like, this is the best idea ever. This would be so cool. Or this project, I really want to do this. I want to build this house, whatever SPs do. And it's great, but then you switch and you start chasing other ideas, you start doing other projects, and eventually you get pulled thin and you don't really know which one you should do. And then if it's a work situation and there's like a deadline, or if it's a relationship and somebody's expecting something of you and there's this deadline, like we start out strong, I'll get it done. Other stuff, get distracted, looking at all these other things. Ooh, a squirrel. Okay, I gotta get it done right now, and you put in all your energy, and it kind of feels good to do that. But it doesn't always serve you. It's not always the best choice. It does help you chase new challenges, which is a lot of fun, and you learn a lot about yourself too. But with too many projects, it's just not. You're going to get distracted, you're going to get lost, you're going to let yourself down, you're going to let other people down. And that's not where you want to be, because that's not who you are, right? So in this video, I want to give you 3 tips to help you deal with that, and a little bit more information on what a perceiver is. What's up, Game Changer? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology, helping you find your true character and level it up so you can play life better. So when you have all of these different projects and you want to continuously challenge yourself, and then when you start to figure it out, you're like, I figured it out enough, let me move on to the next challenge. It's hard to balance. It's a constant theme within my life, so I'm not saying that I'm the best at this. As you know, if you've been watching this channel, it is something that I struggle with. But I do want to give my advice on some things that you can do for when it is really important. When you've decided to make that switch, how you can do that. But before that, let's talk about extroverted perceiving and introverted judging. So within the Myers-Briggs type code, you have your 4 letters. If the last one is a P, then that means that you are a perceiver. So that means you prefer to use your perceiving function in the outer world. What that means is that the way that you like to learn about the world and gather information, the information that you rely on the most, that you trust the most perhaps, is what is going on outside of you. So if you're an NP, that means that the ideas, the connections, the possibilities outside you is what is most compelling and most trustworthy for you. It's connecting the dots. It's saying, okay, this happened and this happened, so it's probably going to lead to this. Like, this is the result of these symptoms. If you're an SP, that means that what is going on outside of you through your senses is what is most compelling for you. So as you would imagine, the things that you can touch, taste, smell, hear, etc. are going to be what is pulling you and the information that you trust the most. So whatever is verifiable with your body through your senses is going to be something that is really important to you. And maybe the pattern connection stuff is going to be less important, less trusted. Just like for NPs, the ideas, the connecting of those patterns and ideas, right, is going to be what is most important. And probably the sensory world, like what you have experienced before and what you're experiencing now in the moment perhaps, is not going to be as trustworthy, or not going to be as stimulating for you. So you're going to chase more ideas. You're going to let the ideas guide you into imagination space. And so because perceiving is the outer world preferred function, extroverted perceiving, then that means you need to balance that. Your psyche needs a way of dealing with the inner world and making decisions as well. So it goes into introverted judging as the preferred way of making decisions based on that information. So if you're an FP, for example, that means that you prefer feeling, and it is the introverted version of it. If it was FJ, then it would be extroverted feeling. TPs, you prefer thinking, and it's introverted thinking as your way of making decisions. So both of these, introverted feeling and introverted thinking, are ways of making decisions based on what you know subjectively, what feels right to you, or the information that you know and how you have organized all this data and all this information within yourself to make sense of it. And you need this extroverted perceiving. You need to get new ideas to see how things emerge. You need to engage in your body or the experience as it is and enjoy that in order to have a more thorough understanding, right? To make better judgments. You need this information. Either way, you still need to find a balance between those, and you need to appreciate that I'm getting this information so that I can make better decisions based on what is important to me. So don't hate on this compulsion to continuously scout and take in more information. It's an important step. It's an important thing for anybody. And for us perceivers, it's a strength that we have. But the problem comes in, as you know, and as we've talked a little bit about, when you do it too much, when it's just so compelling that making a decision and then creating the structure and the control around the world, that's difficult. Right? And so we just continuously explore, we find new ideas, and eventually we're like, okay, one of these is going to give us all the information that we need to make the right decision. But until then, I'm going to keep exploring. And it can run you around and around and around, and you lose a lot of your ability to impact the world and to create something for yourself, because you're not standing on or for anything, right? You're not creating that around you. So what can you do? You can just let it happen and continuously do it, and that might work for a little while, but it will eventually cause some problems. When people call you flighty and you can't stick to a schedule and you keep changing jobs and nothing seems to work out for you, you might want to add some more judging, some extroverted judging specifically, and create a plan and create a structure and follow the system that other people have made. And that probably made you feel a bit strange inside when I said that. Might have not liked that, because I didn't like it either. So the first thing that I'm recommending here is to work that muscle. Work it like a muscle. Like, oh man, there are so many ideas, so many other things I want to do right now that seem so much more compelling, but I'm not gonna do it. And you stick within that one thing, and you can play within the box. Like if there's a project that you're working on, you can explore within that box. Might not be as fulfilling, but there are still elements that you have not fully found out. You know, you can work on it as like, I'm gonna just completely dive into this one thing and better my skills with it. If you're like working on like carpentry or something like that, and you're building something, you're like, yeah, I actually kind of want to start this other project. Well, there's still more that you can learn from there. Maybe finding new techniques through it. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a method that I have used that has helped me with some things. The other one is to make it a value or a principle. If you are struggling, for example, with being late and not finishing these projects, not being on time and getting in trouble with that, working on shifting your identity to be like, this is something internally that I have decided. It's not because you told me that I need to get it done by this time. It's because I've decided that this is something that I do. As a person, I'm not going to create these problems for other people anymore by not getting my work done on time, by not showing up on time and things like that. Like, turn it inward and stop thinking that the structure is outside of yourself, but make it an internal structure. This is a value that I follow. This is a principle that I am sticking to because it's the right thing to do. And with that comes the third one of making the problems of not sticking with something more compelling and bigger, I suppose, than the joys of changing projects and changing courses all the time. So what I mean by that is, if you have a project that you need to work on and you want to work on another project, and then you kind of want to work on this other project, and you got this other book that you want to read, but you want to watch this movie too. Like, you got all these different options and ideas or projects and things that you want to work on. But you know that this one is the thing that you really need to do, and you need to get it done. It's the most important thing right now. Really dig into, well, what if you don't do that? What are the costs in your life if you don't do this? Sometimes it's easy to brush off, like, probably nothing, like it's not that big of a deal. Well, if it's not that big of a deal, then either you should have already done it, or you should just do it now and get it over with. But if it is this big deal and you're procrastinating on it, it's important to really think about, well, why and what are the costs? Like, if I don't finish this project, this person is going to have all these other problems in their life. Let me think about those. Okay, that must really suck for them. And I'm going to be seen as somebody who can't follow through. And that's going to stop me from getting a raise or a promotion. And that's going to prevent me from traveling the world and living the life that I want. And that's going to mean that I'm not fulfilled. And if I'm not fulfilled, then etc., etc., etc. Like, make it big. And if that problem feels really looming, right? If this feels like something that, okay, it's massive now, then you're going to more likely get it done and minimize the joys of putting it off. So I hope that these 3 tips helped you and you gained a little bit more insight and knowledge about extroverted perceiving and introverted judging. And try them out. Give them an honest try. Work that muscle, make the internal drive more compelling, and make the problems that will happen if you don't follow through, if you don't stick with it, bigger. And if that still seems like it doesn't work, then you got some inner work to do. You got to go in and figure out, like, well, why do I keep this thing going? Why am I afraid of making a choice here? Because there's a reason. There's a reason for everything we do, and there are secondary benefits and things like that as well. And so for perceivers, it's likely that it's something internal, that you're afraid of being wrong. And if that's the case, it might be time that you allow yourself to be wrong, make a decision, and see what emerges from there, and enjoy exploring the possibilities from making that decision. Alright, hope this video helped. If it did, please let me know. If you're interested in more personality type videos, you can check them out over there. If you want one-on-one personalized coaching, you can go to geekpsychology.com and hit me up there. Keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace.